I'm Allison for Leading Edge Dog Show Academy, and today, as part of our equipment series, we're gonna go through the long pin brush, right? So a pin brush that has a pin 27 to 35 millimeters long, and we're gonna lead you through each coat type and when you might use it. So starting off with double-coated breeds like we see here, typically I'm only going to use the long pin brush on that longer coat. So the ruff and the pants. If I only choose one pin brush for this coat type, it would be the short pin. So, you know, this would be your luxury brush for the double coat. The drop coat, really where the long pin brush shines. Most of our drop coats, you know, even when they're not in full coat, they're still gonna have a long enough coat that you want that 35 millimeter pin, so you're getting through that long, luxurious coat quite easily. Scissored coat type, again, a bit of a toss-up. Standard poodles, I'm usually using a longer pin brush for the spray up, but I like maybe the long medium or the medium pin for most of those scissored coat types. Setter spaniels, again, I'm probably using my long pin brush, right? Because I'm using it for all that long, luxurious coat, all of their furnishings. That shorter jacket on the setter spaniels, I'm using a bristle brush. So again, another place for the long pin brush to shine is setter spaniels. Smooth coats. Yeah, smooth coats, I'm kind of never touching them with a pin brush, really. You need a good bristle brush for that, but lucky you don't have as much brushing to really do. And then same with wire coats. You know, wire coats, I'm only using a long pin brush in an emergency. You really need that short pin to get the wire coat to behave really the way you need or would desire it to behave. So here we are with a drop coat example and when we would use each pin brush. Now, remembering that basically the golden rule of pin brushes is the longer the coat, the longer the pin you want on your pin brush. Obviously, this beautiful, mature coat, I'm gonna be using like pretty much the longest pin I can use. So I'm using like a 35 millimeter pin here. And this is the pin brush that I would use over her entire body. I'd probably even use it on her legs. You could, if you wanted, take a shorter pin brush and use that on her leg coat. You could use it around her face. But if you're proficient at all with your brushes, there's no reason why you can't use a longer pin brush all over her entire body. Now, when we are brushing, you know, we really want to make sure, especially as we're working around the head and we're working on the ears, that we want to be holding the ear with our hand and kind of letting the ear leather rest in our hand as we brush the ear. But we just want to go through the coat layer by layer. You're going to go all over the entire body. I like to go section by section, but really using the long pin brush on the longer coat just is more efficient. The brush can work its way all the way through the coat better, all the way down to the skin. And remember when you are brushing your dog that getting down to the skin is the most important part. So with a shorter pin brush, this pin brush is probably about a 22 millimeter pin. You know, you could use this on her coat, but I would prefer a longer pin brush. The one place I would use the one with the shorter pins would be on her shorter toe coat. I would maybe use it around her muzzle, maybe on her belly, but anytime that there is a shorter pin brush, I'm going to use that on a dog that has shorter coat. So when we are using a pin brush on a wire coat, like a wire-haired Vizsla, like we have here with Rose, you know, the rule is with pin brushes, the longer the coat, the longer the pin on the pin brush, and also the harder the coat, the more firm you want the pad of the pin brush, right? So I would not be using a very long pin brush like we see here with the 35 millimeter. I'm gonna be using something like a 22 and a firmer feel to those pins, right? Because, you know, when we're using them on this wire coat type, typically we don't use them a lot. We're gonna be using a bristle brush for most of the body coat, but you know, if we were gonna go through it with a pin brush, it would be a shorter pinned one, you know, just so we can make sure that we're getting the skin stimulated and, you know, what little furnishings she does have, that we are going through it with this shorter pin brush, you know, making sure we can get all of her little face hairs groomed. There she goes. So really using the long pin brush, first of all, it's a bit of overkill. You don't really need a pin that's that long. And also it's gonna have a softer flex. So it's not going to do as good a job on this harder coat. So just something to remember when using pin brushes on this coat type. So the next time you're figuring out what length of pin you need on your pin brush, just think of the coat type and that will help you solve the problem. I hope that helped. Hey everyone, thanks for watching today's video. Please leave us a comment below, let us know what you thought, and as well, if you have any ideas for future content that you'd like to see, you can put them down there as well. You can head over to leadingedgedogshow.com where you can find our free, premium, and subscription content, and we'd love to have you join us there. As well, don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on those notifications. That way you never miss another free video tutorial. That's it for today. Thanks for watching.